Everyone, welcome back. Let's continue from where we left off. Next series of questions are from American GTA.
Where did you get, when did you get, and how much was the Slam City with Scottie Pippen for Sega CD 32X?
I got it at Play and Trade. I got it a couple months ago, and it was insanely cheap. It was like $3.50 or $4 or something like that. And for a game that bad, it was worth having, if you can believe it. What's your next question?
Can you review more Sega CD 32X games?
I can, but I don't really have that many more. I think I have Fahrenheit. I have Supreme Warrior, I think it's called. I can barely see him from over here. Supreme Warrior. What else is down here? Oh, Corpse Killer. So basically, I only have 3 more Sega CD 32X games, and I can review them. Actually, I don't consider the Slam City video I did to be a review. It was really more of a gameplay video. But I'm only doing games that people have requested so far. I may do them in the future, but not for far in the future. I don't think I'll be doing... I don't know. Just see how it plays out. But yes, I can. It is possible. Next question.
What state do you live in?
Illinois.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a data analyst. That is the same as a previous question. I won't go any further than that. And even then, I didn't go any further in it. Final question.
How old are you?
I'm 32. Next question is from Flair Nature Boy Woo.
How did you come up with your YouTube username?
Oh, I did answer this one before. I did want a Mystery Science Theater name. It goes back to Quake 2. I answered this question altogether, but basically it's spelled that way because it's the way it's spelled here in the opening theme song. The 111 is just their shift list explanation points. Don't think I need to go into any more details than that. I already answered that question before. Next question is from Nibelung 34343. That's way.
What was the highest score in a game that you ever played?
Okay, now this question I don't think I'm going to be able to answer at all. I don't really keep track of my high scores, especially high scores across all games ever. It's just crazy. So, it could even be pinball machines. Earlier pinball machines, you'd be lucky to get 1,000 points. But if you look at the current pinball machines, it's easy to score into the trillions. So it's kind of a bizarre, whatever. It just depends on what game you play that allows you to score the highest. That allows, Mario Brothers, that had score, but whoever paid attention to that, who knows? I don't know. I'm not really going to be able to answer that question. Interesting question, but I'm afraid I'm not able to answer that. So we'll just have to move on to the next question from Freeloader 410.
What is your favorite game console and why?
My favorite game console, the Neo Geo AES, and I've actually mentioned it before, and it's because it takes me back to that 90s arcade feel. And those games don't pretend to be anything else but pure action arcade games. And that's actually what I look for in a video game. Mainly, it's not to say I don't like any other genres like RPGs or whatnot, but those are my favorite type of games. So yeah, I'll have to say the Neo Geo AES, and that's why. Next question is from Jimmy Classy.
What is your favorite arcade port?
Well, that's kind of a tricky question. I like I'm just going to say this, Galaga on the Xbox 360, Xbox Live Arcade. I like that one. I like the Dig Dug. I like the Joust. Basically all those games I've downloaded. And I like those ports because they are pretty much arcade perfect. You're not going to get any more perfect than that. So that's what I'm going to have to say. Next few questions are from the Goon02. So ask your questions.
What's your best game deal you ever had?
I've had actually a couple really good deals, all of them at Goodwill. The first being a box with a ColecoVision in it, the roller controller, and a whole bunch of games, 3 controllers, and they wanted $20 for the entire box. So that was a great deal. I got a Master System in the box for $20 there. That was an awesome deal. And the third really good deal I got there was they had I showed it earlier, the Genesis Model 2 with the Sega CD attachment with the 32X on it, all taped up with all the cables and everything for $20. So those were awesome finds, and those pretty much tie. It's like a three-way tie for my best game deal. So we'll move on to your next question.
What game was the biggest disappointment for you when launched?
All right, I had to think about this one for a while, but I'm going to have to say it's this one, WarioWare Mega Party Games. This is essentially the GameCube version of the GBA game, but they claim to have made it multiplayer, but the multiplayer games really suck. I mean, it's got all the same mini-games, basically, that the Game Boy game had, but the multiplayer version of the games really suck, and it really wasn't really wasn't that fun to play with other people, so I'm going to have to say this one. It's still an okay game, but it's not fun for what it claims to do.
What game did you underestimate the most?
Well, I have to say it's Animal Crossing. I started playing this because my friends had it on the GameCube, and even after they stopped playing it, I continued to play it until, in fact, I went so far as to crazy when I was unemployed for a period to map out my entire town on graph paper. I was that into the game and plotted out where all my trees would be planted and everything. It just sucked me in for some reason, and it got me into buying the DS game and the Wii game. Now, fortunately, I've been able to break myself away from the Wii game. It's the kind of game where I had to play every day, and hopefully when the next game comes out, I don't buy it, because that just is an entire time waster for me, especially when nobody else plays the game. But yeah, this game is just, when you have other people to play with, it's just crazy. You visit their towns and everything, and it just when you connected the GBA and everything, it just added. But recently they've been just the game has been stagnant. Is what it's been. It's really nothing new in it. Still good, but I'm gonna have to say that. Okay, and I think your final question.
Also would like to hear an interesting Air Force story.
An Air Force story. Well, it's not quite a question, and well, as you can see, I'm wearing different clothes than the rest of the video, and that's pretty much because the original answer I gave was total crap. I couldn't think of anything good at the time, and what I have now isn't that much better, but it is better. So I'm just gonna say that while I was in the Air Force, I was stationed in Mississippi for most of the time. That goes for tech school, and I was eventually actually based in that base in Mississippi. It's on the Gulf Coast. It's Keesler Air Force Base. And I've actually been through 2 hurricanes there. Once during tech school, which was a pretty bad one, but the second one was less than a year before I was going to get out of the Air Force, and the eye of the hurricane actually went over where I was, and I was actually in like a shelter. For basically the building I worked at turned into a shelter. We had a generator and everything. I was stuck in there for 3 days, and one thing I remember from that was we had these power strips going all through the hallways, and they were all being used. And this one guy, I don't exactly know who he was, but he wanted to plug in his TV and his PlayStation so he could, play some PlayStation. And he goes out in the hallway to find an outlet, and he couldn't find one for the PlayStation, so he unplugged something and plugged in his PlayStation. Well, that something he unplugged happened to be I don't know if it was the general or whatever, but all the officers were in this room watching the news of the hurricane and everything, and he actually unplugged the projector they were watching, so it was pretty funny. But even more memorable, having trouble talking, even more memorable was the fact that after 3 days, they still didn't let people go out because, the debris and everything, but they let certain volunteers go out. So after being stuck in there for 3 days, of course, I volunteered to go out, and it turns out they paired us all in groups of 4s and gave us golf carts and chainsaws to run around to, cut anything that might be dangerous, like, tree branches that are half broken or whatever. But all I remember is riding around a half-destroyed base. And it's so funny because it's, they had trees there, but the trees are basically planted in sand because it's on the Gulf Coast. Of course, all these trees are all over the place. And we're running around. It's like, yeah, that looks like it needs to be chainsawed. Hey, that looks like it needs to be chainsawed. And this went on for like 2 days. I don't know. It was a disaster, but I had fun. Anyway, yeah, that's the story. Couple stories I'll give you. Alright, everybody, looks like I ran out of time on this video. I'll continue these questions in the next video, which should be uploaded the next day, barring any unforeseen circumstances. See you then.
Mom? Dad?
Oh my God, that's disgusting! Oh!
Oh.
They're doing those dirty dishes.